This is Reggie with One Soul at a Time. If this is your first visit, welcome. If you have come back, I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you like and subscribe to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about sleep. The fact that so many of us have a hard time getting to sleep, whether you're early in recovery, which it really is difficult when our brain receptors are trying to calm down and you're detoxing off of your substances. It really takes a while for things to settle back. But you know, most folks, even later on in recovery, have a hard time sleeping, and typical people do. So we have something that I've run across that has been scientifically researched on a whole lot of levels, is something called sleep hygiene. You know, good sleep, healthy sleep. And there's a way, and there's some suggestions about how to set yourself up for a good night's sleep. One of the things is avoid eating a heavy meal late at night. Our digestive system is one of the most taxing things that our bodies do. And it takes a lot of oxygen and it takes a lot of energy. So even though you might not be moving, your brain and your body is working very hard to digest your meals. It says to avoid taking naps during the day. I know that's really hard, especially if you haven't slept well at night. And our body can get into patterns. So if you sleep too much during the day, I'm not talking about a 20-minute power nap where you don't go into deep sleep. Those can be very, very helpful. But taking really long naps, your rhythm, your circadian rhythm, really can suffer. Limit the caffeine that you take in. Stop, no caffeine after 5. I don't know of anybody that drinks caffeine and does well at falling to sleep in a reasonable time after 5 o'clock. And remember that caffeine is in tea, caffeine is in chocolate, it's in many sodas. So be mindful of what you're putting in your body. And if 5 o'clock doesn't work, move it back to 3 before you start worrying about not being able to sleep. It's also suggested you don't watch anything violent on TV like an hour before you go to bed. Why? The brain gets wound up. It gets into what you're watching, and it takes a period of time for it to unwind and say, okay, all right, make logical choices about when it's safe for you to go to sleep. Your brain's not gonna let your body go to sleep easily if it thinks it's challenged, that you might be in danger. So the suggestions are not to have your television on in the bedroom when you're going to sleep. Folks tell me that they get lulled into sleep with the stories and stuff, but once you fall asleep, if the TV is still on, your brain, even with your eyes closed, does not distinguish between what's happening in the room and that it's the television set. So consequently, with the light changes, especially if the sound is still on, your brain won't let you get into that deep REM sleep, which is so incredibly important for manufacturing red blood cells and for repairing your organs. That's when we're deeply asleep. That's when our body gets its best chances to get healthy for the next day. Keep the room as dark as possible and cool. You're better off having a colder temperature, wearing loose clothing and heavier covers than keeping the temperature up in the room. One of the more typical things for people whose brains don't shut off too well is keeping a pad of paper, a little notebook, and a pencil, pen next to your bed. So that if you are the type of person like me, when I get level in the bed, my brain invariably will go, don't forget to make the insurance payment, or don't forget to send the birthday card. If you just reach over, you don't even have to turn the light on. Just reach over and write down on that pad, make the car payment, or whatever it is that popped into your head. There's this trick. The brain gets permission to let it go instead of giving you the message, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. It's also suggested, if you're the type that takes a while to unwind, is read something mindless as you're going to sleep. You know, it's okay if you're reading by flashlight or reading on a Kindle on a dark thing, on a dark tablet for the background, that if you fall asleep and it falls down, you're perfectly fine. But if you get into reading something relaxing like historical fiction, your mind can get involved in the story, and again, stop all those rat wheels that can go turning about what you might need to do tomorrow or what you might need to do 6 weeks from now. Insight Timer, and that's an app, a free app that you can download to your devices. There's a lot of very, very good guided meditations. Sometimes there's sounds, you know, of oceans. You can choose whether you want guided meditation that'll lead you through a process that'll help you relax. And they're usually followed up by music for you to get solidly asleep. I know that some of those have got kind of a hypnotic flavor to them, but I've been using them for like 6 years now, and I haven't built any atomic bombs in my garage or anything, so they're really safe. Again, that's Insight Timer. You can put it in your, do a search on your apps for your devices. If sleep is still eluding you, or better yet, you wake up in the middle of the night and you make a restroom stop, and you just need a little bit of something to help you get back into your deep sleep. Meditation, if you've got some prayers that you like to say, you can do that. You can do that repetitively. Do a gratitude list by the alphabet. Again, it is transferring your thought. Instead of letting your thought get into some problem-solving stuff, you're focusing on a very logical pattern that can help shut out those thoughts and perhaps, even if you lose track, help you get to sleep. Counting backwards, especially if you're not good at math. Subtracting by threes from 300. I know, sounds crazy. It can be challenging, and it's really effective. If you forget what number you were at, go back to the last one you do remember and go from there. Again, the whole thing is about tricking the brain into being quiet so that your body can go to sleep. There's a lot of muscle tension and relaxing exercises that you can look up. Some of those are really effective. Some of those are on Insight Timer too. As far as ingesting something, taking something for sleep, chamomile tea can be helpful to set you up for a good night's sleep. Stay away from valerian root products. That's the same base that Valium comes from, which is a benzodiazepine. Doesn't work well with the receptors in the brain of folks that are in recovery. Something very simple. Put up half a mug of milk, warm it up in the microwave, and dissolve like a teaspoon of honey in it. Can't tell you the exact enzyme changes or why it works, but it's very calming. Most folks, science says it's probably the calcium in it that helps relax the body. You know, talk with your counselor or your doctor about safe over-the-counter sleep aids. One that is helpful, stay away from the Benadryl. We've found that research shows that folks that take Benadryl regularly, that it can cause early dementia later in life. But that melatonin, especially the fast dissolve, is one of the safer things that can help you get to sleep without you having that kind of logy feeling in the morning. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time. There's other, suggestions, but for that's a pretty good list for you to start, and I wish you all a good night's sleep. And again, I'm Reggie with One Soul at a Time. Check out our website, and have a great day.